Hello and welcome to class number 7 of the UPSC Mains Answer Writing Initiative. Very happy to see that a lot of you have been attending these classes and also sending me answers for a feedback. Reminding you once again, if you want the PDF of these lectures, I will be happy to give it to you. All that you have to do is join the Telegram group. Link is given in the description of the video and do upload all the PDFs there. You can just check them out and download them from there for your revision purposes. As you know, every single day at 7 p.m. roundabout we have this class where we discuss a previous year question that UPSC has asked already. We try and dissect how to answer these questions, what are the things to keep in mind, and then give you a homework for your own practice. In the very first class of this series, we discuss about how to structure an answer, how to write the main body, the introduction part, the conclusion part, way forward, etc. If you have not seen that, if you have any confusion about how to structure an answer, the link of the entire playlist is in the description of the video. You can click there, go to the very first class, spend 10-12 minutes there, and you will be in a lot more clarity about how to write these answers. So please go through that. Now, what do we have in our hands today? Today again we have taken up a question from 2023 paper GS1. The question is, why is the world today confronted with the crisis of availability of and access to fresh water resources? Simple, straightforward question. The question again, as you can see, is the issue of fresh water. Why is it that we have limited availability? Why is it that we have limited access to fresh water? It's a big problem that we face. And as I said, water is also one of those topics that keep on getting repeatedly asked by UPSC time and time again. It may be in the form of fresh water resources. It may be in the form of usage of water in agriculture. It may be in the form of floods. But water keeps on coming up time and time again. So it's not a very unexpected question. In order to answer these questions, you need to have a lot of facts ready with you, a lot of examples of various studies or various reports. How do we start with this kind of a question? There is no technical word which you can define. You can't define what is water. Fresh water also is known to everyone, so you can't really define any generic word. It's best in such cases to go ahead with a fact. Fact about, let's say, availability of water, fact about any report that has come out. Now, I am giving you here multiple examples of how can you write an introduction. It will depend upon which fact do you remember. Sitting in the examination hall, you might not recall everything that you have studied. So, for example, if you remember the fact that UN Sustainable Development Goal 2022 report says 2 billion people worldwide don't have access to safe drinking water, something like this can be a part of introduction. Or let's say if you don't remember that, then you can go with something like this. As per UNICEF, 2/3 of global population experiences scarce water scarcity. Or you can go with the third one, which again talks about a UNESCO report. Now, this is where these kind of reports are important. The reason why I pick up these reports in the newspaper when they come up, the reason why we discuss in the current affairs, is not because these reports are asked in the prelims. There's a very little chance that these UN or UNESCO reports are asked in the prelims exam. There's always a higher chance that these will be asked in the mains exam. So when you come across these kind of reports, maintain a bit small diary or let's say 3-4 A4 pages, loose pages. Whenever you come across any important report of UN that has an important data, that has an important number, just keep a note of that. So you will be able to collect throughout the entire year multiple such reports. I am not saying that you have to have an entire report ready. I am not saying that you have to have a summary of all the findings of the report, because that will be difficult for you to remember. So what you have to do is try and make sure that you at least get 1 or 2 points of the report so that it will help you in writing the mains examination. See, in the prelims examination, you have to answer what the report specifically is asking you, what the question is asking you. In the mains exam, you have a choice. Whatever you remember at that point of time, you can start with that. In case, let's say, you don't remember the fact. It is possible. You don't remember what UNICEF said. You don't remember what the UN said. You don't remember what UNESCO said. Then what do? Then you obviously have to go with something generic. So if you don't remember any of the fact, then maybe from here to here can be your introduction. A very generic statement, or from here to here can be a generic statement. The demand for fresh water is far higher than the current availability of water in the very large population of the world. Something like this, or something like this. Access to fresh water is a human right, as it is not only essential for drinking, bathing, sanitation, but also for industrial and food purposes. So it is always preferable to go ahead with a fact or a definition or an example, but if you don't have any of that handy, you don't have any other option, then you can go with a generic one. Really depends upon you, but again, priority should be given to remembering such facts, at least one or two of them. Now, the question, if you remember, and let's take you back, the question specifically was, why is the world facing the problem of availability and access to fresh water resources? So basically, they're asking you the reason of the problem. They're asking you the reason of the problem. Remember, they are not asking you the solution. The question does not say how will the problem be resolved, or the question does not say how is the government trying to resolve the problem. They're just asking you the problem part, the reason part. So in the main body, we will focus first on the reasons part. Why is it that we have a problem of fresh water availability and access? There are innumerable reasons depending upon whichever you remember. For example, climate change. A growing population means there is an increasing need for water, over exploitation of groundwater, mainly in agricultural countries. In India also you see a lot of water intensive crop being grown. You see places like Maharashtra grow a lot of sugarcane despite sugarcane consuming so much water. You see Punjab growing so much water in wheat, and a lot of it is just exported to other countries. So we use our fresh water resources to grow rice and then export it to some other countries. Indirectly we are exporting our own groundwater. Similarly, you can give examples of population growing. Again, as many facts as you can write here, the better your answer will be. Facts such as the UN World Water Development Report says 80% of people living under water crisis are right now in Asia. I know for a fact, if you remember 100 things, or if you read 100 things on the day of the exam, you'll hardly remember 20-25 things out of all of those. So I'm not expecting you to give examples in each and every line. Writing an answer in practice is different, but writing an answer in the examination is different. I have told this earlier also, and I'll tell this once again. If you are doing answer writing practice right now, and for example you come across with such a question, you don't have any fact right now, please Google search, no problem with that. When you are preparing for answer writing, in the beginning at least, feel free to have a internet search or Google search to get some data or facts or report. Absolutely fine, as long as you now remember that, so that the next time, let's say after 2 or 3 months, if you face a similar question in practice, then you should be able to answer that without Googling anything. So if you are facing this question in your practice, please feel free to data search also. Don't copy the entire thing, write it in your own language. The idea is to see if you can make a structure of your own if you are given the data. So don't worry if you don't have these examples, you can search for these reports online as well without any issue. Other examples include deforestation, which has led to decrease in the groundwater because the water is not infiltrated. Pollution, agriculture, overuse, all of these are examples that you can give. For example, in case of pollution, you can talk about the Yamuna river that has converted into a sewage almost. You can give examples of India or around the world as well. When the question like this one does not specifically ask you about India. The question is not about India. It's not asking how is India facing this problem. It's a generic question. So you can give examples of anywhere in the world. Obviously, you will have more examples of India only. That is obviously fine. But you can give examples from anywhere in the world because the question does not specifically mention India. Now, this was the main body. Now, the question did not ask you for solution. Question only asked you about the problem part. But as good students and good citizens, we'll obviously give solutions also. So in this case, what we will do is, we will make the solution part a way forward, so that it acts as a conclusion also. I've told this earlier as well. When you're writing answers to those questions which ask you about a problem, in those answers, conclusion can be a way forward. That is, how to control or curtail this problem. So in this case, we talked about the problem, the reason for the problem. In the conclusion part, we'll write the way forward. So just write way forward, don't write the word conclusion here. And way forward basically can be suggestions, or can be the ideas rather, that you have to curtail this. This is again an example that you can give of different initiatives like rainwater harvesting, pollution control, sustainable water management, very generic examples. Over here, if you have any example, you can share that the government of this state, for example, is doing a great job in implementing this project. Or if you have an example of any country, that this country has been doing very well by conserving water, setting a benchmark, you can actually quote those examples as well. So way forward can be existing examples of somewhere where you can say that such kind of model should be propagated to the entire country or should be replicated in the entire world. Or you can give generic examples like these that can be a way forward or the conclusion part. So this is how you can write this answer. When the problem is asked and not the solution, try and make the solution a part of the way forward, and that will be a good wholesome answer. This was today's question, and now today's homework for you. Again, there's a homework from 2023 paper itself from GS1. Child cuddling is now being replaced by mobile phones. Discuss its impact on socialization of children. Interesting question where you can write a lot from your own mind, from your own experience, what you see around you. Try and write this answer in about 200 words. I'll be happy to give you a feedback. Do send your answers here at this email ID. I'll be sending you the feedback after checking all these questions. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do hit the like button. A lot of initiatives are coming up on this channel. We are running a prelims crash course or a prelims quick revision series, and we also are coming up with a new initiative on PSIR, decoding PSIR through answer writing. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a good day ahead. Jai Hind.